Alrighty, guys. So we had a great day in the stock market today, and let me roll up my sleeves because we're going to get into everything that happened. We're going to talk about why the markets exploded, as I'm sure you all probably know. We had the S&P 500 up over 3% on the day, the Nasdaq up over 4.5%. We had the Russell up a bunch, the Dow up over 2%, and we had the VIX down 6%. So I'm sure you guys heard Jerome Powell. He's looking a little bit dovish right now. He's saying, oh, we're leaning more towards 50 basis points for the next meeting, and that's kind of what spurred this massive rally. So let's just get into it, guys. If you all find value, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's just dive into it. And by the way, if you want some free money, 15 stocks from Moomoo and 12 stocks from Weibo, linked right down below, and you could also check out my Patreon. And now let's dive into the video. So monster freaking day for the markets today, and I almost forgot to mention, we're going to break down some stocks as well. We have a bunch of earnings to talk about in this video. So monster day overall, and we can see here SPY is clearly breaking out. I mean, it's clear as day. We're taking out the highs from, a couple days ago, from a couple weeks ago, and at this point, we're at how many it's definitely a multi-week high, obviously, but we're at pretty much a 2.5 month high. Yeah, it looks like we're going up to test now, finally, which I've been talking about at this point. We're looking to test the highs from the middle of September, which, if you guys recall, that's when we got the August CPI data, which came in hotter than expected, and the markets collapsed. That day was a freaking bloodbath. You guys remember, S&P was down 5%. The Nasdaq, I think, was even worse than that. But yeah, it looks like that's where we're going. Again, we took the highs out from earlier this month, and, we're at a 2.5 month high pretty much. Looks like we're going up to 415, maybe even higher than that point. That's going to be the next test. And if we do, let's say, break 415, where this could be going after 420, right? You guys see that right here. And then from there, maybe 430, 432. These are some levels that I'm looking at, past 415. So on Triple Q, if I pull it up, let's take a look here and see how that ended up doing and closing today. This took the highs out from last week, it looks like, at about 290. We closed at 293, so keep that in mind, which is the high from the middle of this month. So Triple Q is not quite at the same point as SPY is, where SPY, again, is breaking out of the highs from all this month and the past 2.5 months. Triple Q is still under the high from the middle of this month, which, if it does break that 295 point, which is where my alert's at, man, oh man, this thing could really start exploding from that point. 310, 315, maybe even higher. If you guys recall, like I said, when we got that August CPI number, markets tanked. Triple Q is at 315, 314 roughly before that came out. Then it went to 290 pretty much that same day. It went to 293. Yeah, in one day this was down from pre-market high to where it bottomed out right before close. It was down 7% that day, guys. Awful day for Triple Q that day. But now again, it looks like it's bouncing back, and we're one step away. This is one step away from breaking that point and going, or, breaking out and going right back to where it was back in September. So markets are really looking good. I mean, the VIX keeps coming down, which is a little bit worrisome. I'm not going to lie. If the VIX gets in the teens, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm not going to just jump ship and be like, I'm out of the markets completely. But all I'm saying is, we've seen how the VIX has behaved, right, over the past year, 18 months. When it gets in the teens, you got to be careful. Let's just put it that way, at least in the very short term. Long term, long term, we're going to be good, right, if we're investing for 10, 15, 20, 30 years out. But in the very, very short term, yeah, it's a little bit alarming that the VIX is almost in the teens again. So we got to keep that in mind. But either way, this could still play, to the highs from the middle of September, like I said. I'm still sticking to that. Even though the VIX, again, is a little bit low. We'll see. We'll see how things end up playing out. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, guys, let me actually see what oil is doing. Today, oil went over 80 a barrel. Not bad. It looks like it's up $7 a barrel now, roughly, from where it was a couple days ago when it hit 73 a barrel, which means it is up 9.5%, almost 10% from that low. And don't get it twisted, guys. Don't get too excited, because it looks like the bears are still in charge here on oil. Clearly, we're still under the 180 SMA, still under highs from a couple weeks ago. I mean, clearly we're still on a downtrend. So it's up 9%, 10%, but we're not even anywhere close to breaking out on oil. And let me see how the metals ended up doing. We had silver up 3%. I mean, geez Louise, this is actually now taking out the highs from the middle of this month, which is so good for the silver bulls. And I think I talked about this on Patreon this morning. SLV is something that you guys gotta watch, which is simply an ETF that tracks the price of silver, right? So if you're looking to do a short-term move, I've talked about this before, I'll mention it again. If you're looking to do a short-term move, you don't want to go out and buy silver, deal with paying premiums and fees and taxes and shipping and all that BS. You're gonna go on to buy it in the paper markets, trade in and out of it real quick. And that's what SLV's for. And the equivalent for gold is GLD, which I'm sure you guys have probably heard of these, but I'm actually looking more at silver here as a trade now that it's taken out the highs. SLV's taken out the highs from the middle of this month, being $20.50, $20. We're starting to break out of there. So to me, guys, this looks very bullish. I think there's more upside. So SLV, I'm watching extremely closely. And even gold. I mean, gold's now knocking on 1800. It's right here. It's knocking on that door, right? And 1800, 1790, that was the high from earlier, in the middle of this month, more like 1790, which it looks like we're breaking that out, breaking out of there right now. So gold could be going back over 18 to the mid 1800s in no time, and it's not fully there yet. Silver's chart, I'll be honest, looks way better. But if gold is able to break out of, let's say, and this is looking at GLD, if GLD could break 165, 168, that's where things could really start turning around for gold, right? For GLD, which again simply just tracks the price of gold. SLV tracks the price of silver. So I'm going to set an alert here at 170 on GLD, and we'll see what it does from that point. If it starts creeping above those highs from a couple weeks ago, from a couple months ago in the middle of August where we were at 168, 167, if we start getting out of there, there's going to be a lot of upside. A lot of momentum, the momentum's going to shift pretty much at that point, at least in my personal opinion, guys. And please, as always, do your own research. Please do your own research, guys. I'm not telling you what to do. Of course, I'm just making a video on YouTube giving my thoughts, my opinions, breaking down how I'm seeing these charts. So let's now get into earnings, which we had some big movers today after earnings, guys. XPeng, which you guys probably know, is a Chinese electric vehicle company. And let me tell you, holy crap. I mean, I don't even know where to start. This company went up 47%. The stock went up 47% on the day. To start off the day, it was at, I think, not $5. Where the heck was it? It was at $7.40, roughly. That's where it closed yesterday. And it ran up $3.47. So pretty much a 50% move. I mean, that is insane. So if we pull up the live news tab, I didn't write the earnings down in my notes, guys. And I mean, you'll probably notice this is a later video. I was actually kind of busy today, guys. After I was like between 5 and 8, so I'm cranking out a late video today. So I don't have the notes written down. So bear with me. I'm gonna look down here. Let's see. The Q3 total deliveries were up plus 15% year over year to 29,570. They see Q4 total deliveries of 20 to 21,000, representing 49 to 52% year over year decline. Decline? Yeah, I guess decline, unless that's wrong, which I doubt that's wrong. Let's see here. What was their EPS and revenue? That's what I want to know. Here we go, guys. They did EPAFS, which is, I forget what that stands for, of negative 36 cents, which came in line on sales of $959.23 million, which missed the $1.01 billion. So I'm not sure why the stock, and mind you guys, I don't really track XPeng closely at all. I've done some very brief due diligence on this company, but nothing really crazy at all to where I'm very in tune with what's going on. So I'm not exactly sure why the stock's running, but either way, guys, that's what they reported. Some brief numbers there, and the stock's up 50%. I mean, and mind you, it could be a short squeeze. It could be. I mean, that could be why it's running, considering it went from $35 in June to $6 in the beginning of this month. That's a drop of 85% in about 5 months. I mean, that's pretty overkill in my personal opinion. So maybe there's a lot of shorts in there. Obviously now maybe they covered, causing the squeeze. I don't know. But either way, it's at a multi-week high. We took the highs out from earlier this month, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. In my opinion, it'll probably pull back. It'll cool off. The dust will settle, and maybe at $9.50, $9, $10, that's where it cools off. Maybe we could get an entry point at that point here on XPeng. So now let's talk about the ones that I want to get more into, which I honestly like a little bit more than XPeng. Snowflake and CRM. Both of these reported earnings, so let's see what they did. Snowflake on the day went up 4.6%, closed a little bit under $143 a share, and it looks like after the bell here, let's take a look, guys, it is freaking volatile. I mean, look at that. It closed at, like I said, 143. It dropped to 122. Now it's back to 135. So it is down after the bell about a little over 5% as I'm making this video, guys. And they ended up doing, let's see here, 11 cents versus 4 cents in earnings per share on sales of $557 million versus the $539.1 million estimate. So they beat EPS. They beat on revenue, and Q3 total customers came in at 7,200 versus the Seeking Alpha. That's not Seeking Alpha. That's Visible Alpha analyst consensus of 7,200. So that's a little bit above the estimate, which is good. And let's see here. Total customers with trailing 12-month product revenue greater than 1 million is 287. That's pretty good, I guess. Yeah, because that's above the 234 customers that was estimated from the analysts here. So not too bad. I mean, they beat EPS, beat revenue. They see full year 23 product revenue of 1.91 to 1.92 billion. Q4 product revenue of 535 to 540 million. That's not that bad. So at this point, guys, it could go either way. I mean, if we pull up this chart on the 4-hour, let me show you guys what I'm seeing here. This is, if I clear the set very quickly and get the channel tool out, it's pretty much trading in this downward channel. Do you guys not see this right here? If I zoom in a little bit, you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, right? We just hit the top earlier today at 148. Then we ended up dumping after the bell to 122. Now we're at 135. So this is in a dangerous spot. Well, I don't want to say a dangerous spot, but it's in a kind of an unpredictable spot, right? We could either rip back to 150 for all we know, or dump down towards the bottom of this channel, which could be anywhere from 105, 110, 115. So it could really go either way, guys. And for that reason, I am not too, I'm not loving this one too much in the short term until we get some more direction, whether that be Snowflake breaking out of, let's say, 155, which is the 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, which I might as well just set my alert there right now. Let me do that. Mark is at or above $160 a share. Or from that point, or, if it fails to break that point, again, we could go to 110, 115. So I'm going to set another alert here at 120. Mark is at or below 120, because if you guys look, and I'll zoom in and show you, 120 is not only where we bottomed out in the aftermarket today, but that was also the low from the beginning of this month. So if this gives on Snowflake, we're probably going to that 110 mark, 105. Maybe even worse. Who knows? So let's see what CRM's looking like after the bell. You guys know Salesforce, right? So they ended up doing, let me pull this up and see, $1.40 in EPS versus the $1.21. So they beat on EPS. And sales also beat, it looks like. It was a slim beat, but they still beat nonetheless. $7.84 billion versus $7.82 billion estimated. So they see Q4 adjusted EPS for 2022 of $1.35 to $1.37 versus the $1.34 estimate. So that's a little bit above the estimate. And they see full year 23 adjusted EPS of $4.92 to $4.94 versus $4.73 estimated. So that's also above the estimate. Let's see what else is going on here. CEO Brett Taylor to step down. Wow, the CEO stepping down. Who's becoming the new CEO? Mark Bainoff will be chair and CEO. So I got to look deeper into that, but it looks like some management changes over there at Salesforce, guys, after they ended up, again, beating on EPS and revenue. So we'll see. I mean, at this point, the chart is kind of all over the place. Over the past couple of weeks, it's been trading between 170, 135, 140, right around this $30, $35 window. And honestly, it's not really changing after the bell. I mean, if anything, is it selling off after the bell? Yeah, it's down. I mean, look, it was at $160 at close. Now it's at $149. I mean, it's down about 6-7% after the bell. So a lot of these stocks, guys, are dumping after these earnings came out, which, well, with the exception of XPeng, which is up 50 freaking percent. Other than that, a lot of these are dumping. So let's see what Splunk is doing. Another one that reported today. And oh wow, look at that. That's actually up. This is up $7 roughly after the bell. They closed at 77. Now they're at $84, up about 8-9-ish percent. So let me see what they ended up doing here. 83 cents versus 25 cents. Oh my God. So they crushed EPS. Sales also beat 930 million versus 846 million. So double beat for Splunk, and they raised their full year 23 revenue outlook to, what is it, 3.46 to 3.49 billion. Anything else here? Let's see. They see Q4 revenue of 1.06 to 1.09 billion. And APR, total APR, yada, 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 yada. See Q4 sales. Q4 sales pretty much right in line with the estimates for guidance. Full year 23 sales guidance pretty much right in line. So Splunk is looking pretty solid, I'd say. Good earnings, good EPS, pretty solid guidance. And it looks like now after the bell, again, it's up $7. It looks like it's going to test the highs from from November, being about 86, 87 bucks. That's probably where we're going. So I'm going to set my alert at 87 on Splunk. And if we do take that out, we probably, I don't want to say we will, because you never know. I mean, I'm not that type of YouTuber that's going to be like stock YouTuber that's like, oh, this is going to happen on this date. I know what's going to happen for sure, because nobody knows. I mean, I'm not going to just sit here and BS you guys. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But if this point does break, all I know is we could get some momentum towards $100, whether that be up to 90, 95, 97. I have no idea. But as a trader, the goal is to capture not the entire move, but some of the move, right? Which in this case, again, if Splunk breaks 87, maybe we could play it from 90 to 93 bucks or 88 to 91 or whatever, right? So Splunk, watch out for it. Okta's another one. Let's pull that up. OKTA. I think they reported, right? Yeah, they reported, and their stock is up $8 after the bell, which is a pretty big move considering it was a $53 stock. So now it's up 15% from $53 to $61 after the bell. That is a big move here for Okta. So let's see these earnings. They ended up doing let's see here. They did Q4 EPS, or not Q3 EPS of 0 cents, so they pretty much broke even, which is up from the negative 7-cent loss last year. And sales came in at 481 million versus 465 estimated. So they actually beat on EPS, or actually I don't know if they beat on EPS, but they beat on sales, that's for sure. And they see Q4 EPS of 9 to 10 cents versus the negative 11-cent estimate. So that's great. I mean, they're doing great on guidance. And 488 to 490 million on sales versus the 487 million. That's good as well. So it makes sense why this is ripping after the bell. Again, guys, it is up 15%. Pulling up this 4-hour chart, man, oh man, it is reversing. It is at a multi-month high, and it looks like now we are testing, this point here from, when was this? The beginning of September. Yeah, that's the next test, 65, 66 bucks. So if this is able to break, man, there could be a wide open gap on Okta back towards, 80, 85, 90 bucks. It's possible. Of course, it's not going to happen overnight. If it even happens, guys, who knows what's going to happen, but it's something worth watching, worth keeping an eye on, and worth, setting alerts. So let me actually do that myself. Let me set an alert at 65 bucks. Mark is at or above. And let's see, how many other stocks do we have? Five Below also reported today. Let me pull that up, guys. And by the way, if you're still here, hit that like button, subscribe. I appreciate you guys as always. Cheers. Stay hydrated. I mean, I haven't drank water at all this video, so let me do my part and staying hydrated. Cheers as always, guys. Alrighty, we needed that. So Five Below, man, look at that candle after the bell. So we have a mixed bag here. We have some stocks ripping, some stocks dumping. It looks like Five Below is one of them that's ripping. Again, it's up $15 after the bell. It closed at 160. It's at 175 now. It is up 9%, which is insane. So Five Below ended up doing, let's see here, 29 cents versus 14 estimated on sales of 645 versus 611 million. So they beat EPS, they beat on revenue. Anything on sales or guidance rather, they see full year 22 EPS 455 to 471. Anything on revenue, full year 22 sales of 3.04 to 3.06. That's their guidance. As I spit all over the mic, guys, I don't know if you caught that. You probably didn't see that. But Yeah, Five Below is completely breaking out. And is this one of those stocks that's in a stealth bull market? Not really. It's well, technically, I guess it is in a bull market because it is up 50% in the past couple of months, but it's still very much so off the highs. The highs, all-time highs, are $240. Those were hit in August of 21. Now we're at 160, so we're still well off those highs, down 33% off those highs. But now that I'm actually looking at this 3-year chart, guys, it looks like Five Below is breaking the moving averages. Look at that. It actually looks like it is starting to reverse, and the trend on the max chart looks pretty good as well. So I'd be watching this. Honestly, I'd be watching this. I'm not going to rush into it because it is overbought on the 4-hour chart. But if this pulls back, pulls down a little bit, 160s could be a spot I'm watching it. And ultimately, if it breaks 185, which if we look here on the chart, 4-hour chart, that was the high from middle of April. If we break that point, that is where the reversal could really start to kick in. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up. We're about 21 minutes in. So yeah, perfect timing. So we're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you want some free stocks from Moo, who doesn't like free money, use that link down below. Deposit at least $100 and you could get up to 15 stocks, each up to $2,000. And you could also get 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. All of those are linked down below. And if you guys want to check out my Patreon, that is also linked down below. So is my second channel, Stas Talks Money. I'll catch you all in the next video. I'll pop one up right here. I'll see you guys there. Peace out. I appreciate you all. As always, I'll see you in the next one.